Hey, what's up, guys? It's C-Stacks coming to you today with kind of a throwback box opening. So I've mentioned before several times that the Alien Battles is my all-time favorite versus set, and that if I ever found it cheap somewhere, I would love to do an opening of it on the channel because this was back in the day before I did all the opening videos for all the new sets, so never opened up Alien Battles on the channel. And lo and behold, Miniature Market had this on clearance for, I got this for $4.50. I think it went all the way down to like $2 something before they sold out. So yeah, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick one up, open it up. It's my favorite box. So let's go ahead and do this. So this is a set. This came out in 2016, I believe. It's one of the earliest sets. It was the base set, Marvel Battles, and then Defenders, and then A-Force, and then Alien. It was the first time they'd ventured out into non-Marvel stuff. It's kind of been power crept. There's not a lot of competitive cards in here anymore. There's some pretty good staple cards like Kane and Call, and then obviously like Warrant Officer Ripley. But other than that, nothing in here really sees that much play anymore. But like as far as like flavor and like a really fun box to just like buy and play out of the box if you're a fan of the Alien franchise like I am, I think this is one of the best like standalone products if you're a fan of the franchise. So I just really love this box. So I love the design of it too. Got the OVA Morph on here. So yeah, so let's take a look at the box real quick. All right, it says, I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies. Ash. Versus System 2PCG is about to get invaded with Xenomorphs. For the first time ever, Versus System is getting a new enemy to battle all of the other formidable foes in the Versus System 2PCG universe. Build your deck to battle the vicious Xenomorphs, or build a deck using just the ferocious beasts to overrun the humans. The choices are yours. All of your favorite Alien cast is here. Ripley, Corporal Hicks, Bishop, Hudson, and many more. Play with characters from all 4 Alien films. The Alien Battles are here. 200 playable cards, full color rulebook, all original art, and token sheet. I love that they went with all original art. They commissioned the artwork for this set. If they did an Alien set now, they'd probably just go for the photographic treatment, which would be fine, but I just love the art in this set. So we got Queen on the back, Ash, and the Let's Rock plot twist. So let's go ahead and open this. I haven't opened one of these in years. Right. Okay. So we have our full rule book here. It's interesting. There's like a couple kind of misprints in this rule book. Not really misprints, but let me see if I can find it really quick. Some kind of cool. Here we go. So I think, yeah. Here's something interesting. Just a little fun fact. On the example deck list in the back here, the starter decks, it lists 2 Xenomorph Lance Tail, which is not a card anywhere in this box. What it's referring to is the Ferocious Xenomorph, I think. The 2-drop Ferocious Xenomorph. So this was probably just an early name that they changed later on down the line and forgot to change in the rulebook. So kind of just a fun fact there. All right, who should we start with? Let's start with the human characters. Let's start with the company team. Also, it's cool. They have the red blood drops here, and then the white/silvery blood drops should be white for your synthetics, and then the green blood for your aliens with your tokens there. Very cool. All right. So we have here our company team, Wayland Yutani. All right, we have a very highly competitive character here. We have Warrant Officer Ripley. She's a 2/5/5 company main character, and she has Hide in the Shadows, main for an Earth. Daze a character on your side, but it keeps its equipment. And then her XP is Last Survivor of the Nostromo, level up for 7. At the start of your build phase, Warrant Officer Ripley gains an XP for each wound she has. And then at level 2, she's a 4/8 now. She still has Hide in the Shadows, and now she has Set the Self-Destruct. Main blue, the end of the turn, stun all supporting characters. This power can only be used once per game. So yeah, this is still like a really good main character. It's a very good kind of control anti-aggro character where she just wants to use this hide in the shadows ability like every turn to turn herself face down so that she can never be hit. Obviously, you probably want to take 1 or 2 wounds at the beginning, so you'll eventually level up, and then you can set the self-destruct and wipe the board. This is a very, very competitive main character. One that I thought was terrible when the set first came out, but a very good card. Here we have Lieutenant Ripley. So this is Ripley from the second movie. She has Gear Up. Well, first of all, she's a 2/4 range, 5 health. She has Gear Up, build for an Earth, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, put an equipment from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order. And then she has, we got nukes, we got knives, sharp sticks. Level up for 3. When an equipment appears on your side, Lieutenant Ripley gains an XP. And then at level 2, she's a 7/5, and now she has I Can Handle Myself. Main for a red. Search your deck, hand, and KO pile for an equipment and equip it to a character on your side. This power can only be used once per game. So that's actually pretty cool. You could like search your deck for like a power loader and make her huge. This was not very good when it came out. I mean, it still doesn't really see play, but you could probably make a pretty cool Lieutenant Ripley deck nowadays because we have so much more equipment to work with. There's all the generic Marvel equipment like Nullifier and the Book of Vishanti. There's all the Infinity Gems. There's all the Predator stuff. There's so much stuff you can do with this now. She's got 5 health, so you could try this in the 5 life format. I haven't tried this card in years, but it's probably worth a shot with all the new equipment stuff we have. A very cool card. This was always my favorite Ripley when it came out. But she's very weak when she came out because there's only 3 equipment in this box. But there's quite a few equipment now. You could give that a shot. We have Sister Ripley. So this is from the third movie. She's a 3/4, and she has your ass is already on the line. Your ass is already on the line. Main yellow. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 2 characters in your front row, and then no weapons of any kind. Level up 5. When 1 or more characters on your side make a melee attack, Ripley gains an XP. And then at level 2, she's a 5/7, and now she has Sacrifice and Resurrection, which is a very flavorful ability if you've seen the movie. So any turn combat Earth, if Sister Ripley is your main character, KO her and put a Ripley 8 level 2 from outside the game onto your side, stunned as your new main character. So she sacrifices herself, and then she turns into the Ripley 8. So I believe there was a Sister Ripley deck the year this came out to top 8 Gen Con, which was at the height of Thanos' Reign of Terror. So pretty cool that she was able to make a showing in top 8. She's got a pretty decent aggro ability here. Obviously, there's much stronger aggro main characters now, but yeah, it's kind of some cool things where you can do where if you're about to go into time, you can just use this Sacrifice and Resurrection ability to change into Ripley 8, and now you have no wounds on your main character, which is pretty grimy and pretty cool. All right, so we have Ripley 8. So this is from Alien Resurrection. She's a 3/4, 5 wounds. She has Acidic Blood. Main for a blue, put any number of -1 counters on Ripley 8 as long as she doesn't reduce her defense to 0. Then put that many -1 counters on an enemy supporting character. That ability would be much, much better if it didn't say supporting character. That's a bit disappointing. And then she has Rapid Cell Regeneration. Level up for 1. At the start of your main phase, you may have Ripley 8 gain an XP. When Ripley 8 levels up, heal all wounds from her. So you can do that whenever you want. You can trigger that on the first turn if you wanted to, but she's got 5 health at level 1 and only 2 health at level 2, so you're going to want to be careful when you do that. But yeah, you could do the same thing with this where, like, if you're at 4 wounds, you're about to go into time, swap it out for this, and you heal all wounds. You now have no wounds on your main character. Anyway, so then she levels up into level 2, Ripley number 8. She's a 5/7. 2 wounds, and then she has I'm Sorry. Main for an Earth, name a character, KO all enemy supporting characters with that name. Look at each enemy hand and discard each character with that name. Search each enemy deck and put each character with that name into the KO pile. This power can only be used once per game. So you notice all the Ripley abilities can only be used once per game at level 2. Yeah, so this is the one that you would be bringing out with Sister Ripley level 2. All right, so we're into our supporting characters now. So we have Newt, 1 cost, 0/1, 1 health, and she has We'd Better Get Back. When Newt gets attacked, put her into her owner's hand. Terrible card. but I never liked Newt in the movie anyway. So, all right, this is actually a pretty good one-cost character. We have one-cost Rice. I don't remember if that's how you pronounce the name. It's been a while since I've seen Alien Resurrection. But he's a 2-1 range, 2 health. He has immobile, so he can't move during your formation step. And then he has I'll put holes in you. When Rice gets stunned on an enemy player's turn, put a -1 counter on an enemy character. This is not a bad card. There's better 1-drops now, obviously, but yeah. Here is literally the best card in the set. You still see this in decks everywhere. We have Kane, 2-cost Kane. He's a 3/1/1. He has Explore. When Kane appears, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a basic location. Put it into your hand and shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your deck. Absolutely insane card. This card is incredible. I love the artwork on it too. I love all this original artwork in this box. Very, 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 very good card. Any format that this card is legal in, I guarantee he will always, always, always see play. Very good card. We have 2-cost Captain Dallas. He's a 2/4, 1 health, and he has You Have Orders. At the start of your main phase, put a +1 counter on another company character on your side. I thought that this thing put 2 counters on. That's pretty underwhelming. Yeah. If he had put at least 2 counters on, this card might be a little bit better, but a little underwhelming. Here's another very good card, though. We have Call. She's a 2/2 with a range and 3 health. But you're not really going to be recruiting her. You're going to use her for Full of Surprises. While Call is in your hand, you can discard her to power up any character on your side. You can do this anytime you could normally power up that character. So powering up, obviously, is where you discard it from your hand to put a +1 counter on a character. You can normally only do that with characters of the same name. So obviously, if I have Captain Dallas and one in my hand, I could discard Captain Dallas to put a +1 on him. Call lets you do that she can do it for any character. Very good card. This is a pretty good card. Saw a little bit of play. We have 3-cost Simo Clemens. He's a 2/6 with 1 health, and he has Medical Attention. Main for a red, heal a wound from a supporting character on your side. And then he has Do You Trust Me with a Needle. Main red, Earth, heal a wound from a main character on your side. So it is a bit expensive, but healing a wound from your main character is very good. I know that John and the Build Better crew, they played this card in their Kingpin deck so that they could stay alive long enough to pull off their combo. So I actually always liked that card. He's got 6 defense, which especially at the time was very high for a 3-drop. So yeah, it's a good card. We have Parker. He's a 3-cost, 3/5, 1 health. He has Cattle Prod. Main blue, move an enemy front row character to its back row. Remove all +1/+1 counters from it. That is not bad. That's a pretty good counter hate card. He's got okay stats for a 3-cost, but for a blue, to push a guy back and remove all +1/+1 counters from it, that is a decent card right there. I love this card. We have Bishop, 4-cost Bishop. He's a 4/4, 3 health. And he has Artificial Person. You may pay a yellow and a earth to recruit Bishop instead of his recruit cost. So kind of a pseudo ramp card where you don't have to pay recruit points to bring this out. So you could play a 4-drop and then pay a yellow and an earth to bring this out in addition to your normal recruit. The new wording on this would say something like a character on your side may pay a yellow and an earth to do this. So yeah, that's a pretty good card. I've always liked that card. Bringing stuff out for free. I mean, it's not free. You're paying those things, but to be able to play this in addition to other recruits, being able to ramp up is always been pretty good. Here's a cool card that I saw some discussion recently that wasn't really good at the time, but kind of interesting now. So we have 4-cost Christie. He's a 6/3 range, 1 health with ricocheting bullets. When Christie stuns a defending enemy character, stun each other enemy character on that side with the same name as that character. So a lot of the alien cards, the Xenomorph cards, have swarms. You can have multiple of them out. So this is meant to be a direct counter to the Xenomorph stuff. So if you're playing this out of the box, like if you and your friends are playing just Company versus Xenomorphs, this would probably be a pretty good card, but it never really came up in the meta. But recently, this card saw some discussion on its potential relevance with Outrider main characters came out, where you have 6 copies of Outrider main characters. So if you bring out Christie and attack and stun one of their Outriders, it would stun all of their Outriders. So if this card is ever legal in the same format as Outriders, this card might see play now. It's really interesting, kind of how things shake out when cards like this that were never really considered to be relevant at the time, that might be a good tech card at some point. All right, we have Brother Dylan, 5 cost. He is a 4/6 with 2 health. He has a Eulogy, main Earth. Put a character from your KO pile on the bottom of your deck. Your main character gets plus attack plus defense this turn, equal to that character's attack and defense. That's pretty cool. Another card that never really saw play, but I did draft this once in the Alien vs. Predator draft cube, and this card was pretty cool. Came in handy. Yeah, probably another card that'll never see competitive play, but pretty cool. Okay, here we go. We got a misprint card. I forgot that this was in here. I forgot about this. We have 5 cost Private Hudson. He's a 5/7, 1 health, and he has... you want some of this? It says any turn combat, stun a character that is melee attacking a character on your side. You may use his power any number of times per turn. So you'll notice it doesn't have any kind of cost here. So the way it's worded, you could just keep doing this any number of times per turn. But this is a misprint. This power here is supposed to cost a red. There should be a red training ground symbol here. So you would have to pay a red for that. Well, I remember when they spoiled this one night on the Facebook page, and like people were just freaking out. Like even when they posted the spoiler, they didn't catch it. People had to be like, what the heck is going on here? And then they had to clarify that you have to pay a red for this. And then he has Game Over Man. When Hudson gets KO'd, wound your main character. So kind of a downside of being able to play this. This is a key part in the Kingpin combo from the Build Better guys, where you want their Taskmaster to be copying Game Over Man so you can wound their main character. A very cool card. All right, so we have Johnner. He is a 5/5 range with 1 health, 6 cost. I mostly just hurt people. Johnner gets +5/+5 while in melee combat, so he would be a 10/10 in melee combat. I've always liked this card. I thought it was pretty good at the time. Obviously, there's much better 6 cost characters you can play, and then like on 7 now, you could just play like Hyperion, which is a 10/10 natural without just like even without his ability. So cool card, but no reason to play him. Here's another card that's very key in the Kingpin combo. So you know there are cards in here that saw play and were very relevant for like combo decks and stuff. So we have 6 cost Ash. He is a 3/3 with 3 health. Special order: when Ash appears, you may move him to another player's back row. So he's a traitor. He is crew expendable. At the start of your main phase, stun another character on your side. He's a traitor. And he has Twitchy. Main yellow, move Ash to another player's back row. So I won't go into the whole Kingpin combo. I know I keep mentioning it, but this is a very key card in the Kingpin combo. I love this card. I always thought this card was good. He's one of my favorite characters from the movies. So we have 7 cost Corporal Hicks. He's a 7/6 range, 2 health. Stay frosty. At the end of your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each other ready character on your side. I've always thought this card was a really solid card. Still do. That's a cool 7-drop. I like it. All right, we're into equipment. This was the first time we saw equipment introduced into Versus, into the new iteration of Versus. Love these cards. We have 1 cost M41A Pulse Rifle. It has light armor, piercing rounds. Equipped character has range and +3 attack while making range attack. And he has M40 grenades. Main blue, put 3 -1/-1 counters on an enemy back row character. This was a really relevant card actually because this was a good out to Cosmo, the original Cosmo. They would like bring out Cosmo, target your main character. You like couldn't play the game, just hide it in their back row. So you could put Pulse Rifle on someone and then pay a blue to put 3 -1 counters on their Cosmo, and he's got 3 defense, so you could take it out. So this was actually a really relevant card. I still really like that card. Love the artwork on it too. Looking awesome. All right, we have 2 cost Mother 6000. It has Access Mother, build, yellow, draw 2 cards. I've always been a fan of this card just because I love drawing cards, but never really saw play, probably never will, but you know, I love my draw cards. And then here is the big bad equipment. We have Power Loader, 3 cost. It has Get Away From Her, You Bitch. I love it. Equipped character has +5/+5, loses range, and can't gain range. I always thought it was funky that it makes them lose and not gain range, but it doesn't say anything about flight. So, like, can you imagine somebody flying around in this big mech suit? But I've always loved this card. This card's really good. +5/+5 is just absolutely bonkers. This card's unbelievable. I always loved to put this on in my original Warrant Officer Ripley deck before, like, it was refined and, like, you know, I was just a bad player. My Warrant Officer Ripley deck was not good. But, you know, you just put this on Warrant Officer Ripley, make her huge, and then whenever she hides herself every turn, she gets to keep the equipment. And then we have Weyland Yutani Complex is their wild location. So it's earth, blue, yellow, or red for a company character on your side. So that's all our company guys. They don't have any plot twists because they have equipment instead. We got a generic plot twist here, though. Let's rock. Any turn combat, choose an attacker to get +1 attack or a defender to get +2 defense this combat. The +1 attack thing has always been kind of, +1 attack doesn't really do much. +2 defense is a little bit better. But this card didn't see a whole lot of play at the time or since, except it was pretty cool recently to see in the Children of the Atom format. This card saw quite a fair amount of play in rogue decks at Gen Con, which I thought was just really cool to see when anything from the Alien set pops up in the meta. So saw quite a bit of play in rogue decks. I also love the artwork on this card. I love the artwork on so many of these cards. These are still my favorite locations. Anytime I can, I use alien locations. These locations, oh man, the artwork on these are just so killer. This is my favorite blue location. We have the Nostromo is the blue for this set. Absolutely awesome. We have the Sulaco, which I believe is the ship from, I think this is the ship from the second movie, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously the Nostromo is from the first movie. I think this one is from Aliens. So that's our red location for the set. Love it. We have the Auriga. This is the ship from the fourth movie, Alien Resurrection. That's our yellow for the set. And then we have, this was the first time we got Earth and space location, so we got Earth. All right, so that's what we got for that stack here. So let's go ahead and get into our Xenomorphs. All right, let's do it. All right, we got the man from the mat here. We got Perfect Organism. So this would be technically the alien from the first movie. He's a 5/2, 5 health. He's got Creature, which is the keyword that says they can't hold equipment. And then he has its Structural Perfection, Combat Space. If the Perfect Organism is melee attacking, the defender can't strike back this combat. And then he has a Survivor, Unclouded by Delusions of Morality. Level up 3, when Perfect Organism survives a combat, it gains an XP. I remember when this was first spoiled, I was like, oh man, this card is so good. He's got 5 attack at level 1. This card's broken. But unfortunately, he's got that 2 defense. It's just so tough. A guy having 2 defense, 5 health. It's really tough to survive. And then at level 2, he's a 9/3 with 5 health. That 3 defense just kills him, man. But he's got a huge attack, especially for the time. 9 attack was pretty impressive for a level 2 main character. He now is matched only by its hostility. So its Structural Perfection is matched only by its hostility. So any turn combat yellow, if the Perfect Organism is defending against a melee attack, the attacker can't strike this combat. So I've always been a fan of this card. He's not great. He's got really, really low defense. Pairing that with his 5 health makes him a tough sell. But I've always wanted to try this card. Like every format that he's legal in, I always want to try the Perfect Organism. I tried him a little bit in the 5-life format. We just played him against some other fun decks, but maybe I'll profile him at some time because I do love this main character. I've always thought it's cool, and I'd love to play him on this mat here, But yeah, that low defense combined with that 5 health makes him a tough sell. Here's one of my favorite all-time decks, though. We have the Queen, 2/5, 6 health creature. They're coming out of the walls. Build space. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose a character with Swarm from among them, and any number of other characters with that same name as that card, and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So he's got that Cerebro ability that Professor X has, but he's searching for Swarm guys, and the ability to grab multiple copies of the same card is very, very strong. And then she has, they're all around us, man. Level up 3. When a character with Swarm appears on your side, if you already have a character with that name on your side, the Queen gains an XP. And then here we go. I love it. Level 2 Queen, 6/6, and she has Who's Laying the Eggs. Main, blue, search your deck, hand, and KO pile for an OVA Morph and put it into your back row. Then, one at a time, you may have each OVA Morph on your side try to hatch. And the OVA Morph is, of course, the alien egg, which we will get to and explain. This is one of my favorite cards in the game. It's another card that saw a lot of play recently at Gen Con. I actually forgot to mention that a lot of these cards actually saw a lot of play recently at Gen Con, and we'll talk about why. Because I mentioned that Kane still sees play, Call still sees play, Warrant Officer Ripley still sees play, but I forgot to mention that a lot of these alien cards actually did see play in some Mimic decks at Gen Con this year. So we'll talk about that, because the alien cards do kind of still have their place in the meta. Not the alien main characters, but there are some alien cards that you want to splash. Here's another really good main character, though, that sometimes still sees play. So we have the dragon. He's a 3, 4, 5 health with creature, and nobody can stop it. Main, green, ready the dragon, so he can attack multiple times per turn. And then Blood and Terror, level up 5. Whenever the dragon attacks, it gains an XP. And then level 2 dragon is a 6, 7, and it now has it feeds on mines. Main, space, the dragon is lethal this turn. When the dragon KOs an enemy character this turn, heal a wound from it. This is so good. Healing wounds is very, very strong. And with this Ready Dragon ability, the first ability that nobody can stop it, you can potentially heal multiple wounds from the dragon in one turn by doing that, which is very good. Here is probably maybe the worst main character in the box, but my all-time favorite character in Versus System. As you guys probably know, I profiled this before. I played it a lot on the channel. This is my absolute favorite main character in the game. We have the Newborn. He's a 3/3 creature with 6 health. He's got Roar. Any turn combat green, put 3+1/+1 counters on the Newborn. Use its power only if you have no cards in your hand. Awful. And then he has Ungrateful Child. At the start of your main phase, you may discard your hand. If you do, Newborn gains an XP. Dump your whole hand and level up. At level 2, he is a 6/6. He has Beautiful Butterfly. Any turn combat space if the Newborn is defending. It's ferocious and monstrous this combat. So strikes first and strikes everybody if he's being team attacked. Favorite card of mine. Especially terrible at the time because he's playable now. Because we have Leader, so you can dump your whole hand and then draw a whole new hand. The closest thing you could do back in this first set was Salivating Xenomorph. Lets you draw if you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. So you can dump your hand and then draw 3. That's the closest thing that you could do to the Leader thing to kind of make this somewhat playable. But we had a friend who when this set first came out, he was convinced that just playing Newborn and dumping your hand turn 1 was like the best thing you could do and just survive off 2 cards per turn just by being big on the first turn. It did not work out for him. All right. In our sporting characters, we have OVA Morph. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the tokens that go with him so that we can explain how he works. Okay. This was a card that saw a lot of play this year at Gen Con. We have 1-cost OVA Morph, 0/4, creature and swarm. Passive, this character can't attack or strike back, and hatch. At the start of your build phase, if there's an enemy sporting character, reveal a random card from your Facehugger pile. So here's the Facehugger pile. Facehugger pile has 3 Facehuggers that would jump out of the egg and attach themselves to one of your opponent's characters, or 1 extended incubation, which says that the egg is not yet ready to hatch, and you shuffle it back in. So you would shuffle these guys up, reveal a card, and if you hit the Facehugger, you KO the egg, you bring out the Facehugger, and it attaches itself to one of your opponent's characters, and then if it survives the next turn, you can burst it and bring out an alien character from your hand. Very, very flavorful cards here. I love it. One of my favorite cards in the game. I saw a lot of play in the Mimic deck because it's removal, which Mimic likes, and it gives you access to Spook, which is another sort of kind of removal card that we'll talk about in a minute. All right, we have Adolescent Xenomorph, 1-cost, 2/2, 1 health, creature and swarm. Legion, you may have up to 8 cards, 8 of this card in your deck. First time we ever saw Legion. And it has accelerated growth. When this character appears, put a +1/+1 counter on each other Adolescent Xenomorph on your side. So the more and more of these you have, the stronger they get. A very cool card in the Queen deck, especially, because you can search for multiple of it. We have 2-cost Xenomorph Ambusher, 2/3, 1 health, creature and swarm, camouflage. This character can't be attacked while it's in your back row. I've never liked this card, but I believe this also saw play at Gen Con in Mimic decks for being just a Xenomorph activator for Spook that is difficult to kill. This is actually a very good card, surprisingly. Even still, I feel like this is he's high statted for a 2-cost. Definitely saw some play at the time at Gen Con that year when the set came out. We've got 2-cost Leaping Xenomorph, 4/1, creature swarm, and leap. This character has flight during your turn. 2 health, 4 attack. Not bad at all, not a bad card. Here's the Xenomorph Lancetail I was telling you about. It's now called Ferocious Xenomorph. 2-cost, 3/2, 1 health, creature swarm, ferocious. While in melee combat, this character strikes before characters without ferocious. This card's not very good. It's got very low defense, very weak to range, only 1 health. It's better if you have it in multiples, but yeah. Salivating Xenomorph, 2/4, 1 health, creature swarm, salivate, main, yellow. This is the one we looked at a second ago. If you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards. Not a very good card. Here is a good card, though. We have 3-cost Acid Blood Xenomorph, 4/3, creature swarm, 2 health, and he has Bleed Acid. When this character attacks or defends while wounded, put a -1 counter on each enemy character in the combat. So this was actually a pretty solid card. I don't even remember this one. We have 4-cost Xenomorph Spitter, 5/4 range, creature swarm, 1 health, and he has Spit Acid. Main blue, put 2 -1 counters on an enemy character. Repeat this process for each other character named Xenomorph Spitter on your side. That's pretty cool, actually. I've never played this card, but obviously the more you have on your side, the stronger it is. Yeah, here's actually a pretty good card for like the Queen deck. We have Screeching Xenomorph, 4 cost, 3/6, 1 health, creature swarm, Screech, main, green, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a character with Swarm on your side, and on each other character on your side with the same name. So this card was actually also really good in the Ultron main character deck, and if you ever play in a, what's it called? Secret Wars tournament, where photographic and illustrated cards can be mixed, I can imagine this card being really, really insane in an Outrider deck. Although it's just kind of a worse Grandmaster, but playing this in addition to Grandmaster doesn't seem bad at all. All right. We have Dragon supporting character. I love this card. He's a 7/2 creature, 3 health. Leap. Dragon has flight during your turn. It is generally unpleasant. Any turn combat space. Heal a wound from the dragon. Amplify. Heal 2 wounds from it instead. So Amplify is the one where instead of paying it from your row, you discard the location. So you get an additional effect if you do that. So here is one of my all-time favorite cards, though. I love this supporting character. This card is absolutely amazing. I think it's still criminally underplayed. This card can take out some huge threats. I love this card. We have 5-cost Perfect Organism, 4/8, 2 health, creature, ferocious. So he strikes before other characters without ferocious. And he has this thing. It's huge. It's big. Any turn combat yellow, the Perfect Organism strikes with double his attack this combat. Amplify, so if you pay it from your hand instead, it strikes with triple its attack instead. Absolutely insane. Such a good card. All right, we have my boy again. We have 6-cost Newborn, 6/6, creature, 2 health, monstrous. While the Newborn is defending against a melee team attack, it strikes back against each attacker. And then he has Tantrum. Any turn combat, green, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Newborn. Amplify, put 5 +1/+1 counters on him instead. This card was actually pretty decent at the time. Obviously, there's so many good high drops you can play now. You probably would never see play, but I still really like this card. Here's a card I play still in my Newborn deck. We have 7-cost Queen, 8/8, 2 health, creature, leader. So while the Queen is team attacking, you choose who the defender strikes back against. And then she has Who's Laying the Eggs. So she has, so it's any turn combat, blue, search your deck, hand, and KO pile for up to 2 OVA Morphs, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Amplify, you may put them into your back row instead. Very cool card. Here's a really good plot twist, saw a lot of play at Gen Con. We have Chest Burst, any turn combat. If this is a melee attack, put 2 -1 counters on a character in the combat. Still a very good card. Another very good card that saw a lot of play at Gen Con. Spook, main, daze, and unprotected enemy character. That's stunning it without wounding it. Very, very good in Mimic. Very, very good for Deadpool. So this sees play almost every year, be it Mimic, be it Mystique turning into Deadpool. This is always a very relevant card for various reasons. Build the Hive. Not a very good card in general, but saw some play to be a kind of a Thanos hate card. Main, turn an enemy location face down. And then LV-426 is their wild location. This is the planet they originally found the eggs on in the first movie. So it's space, blue, yellow, or green for a Xenomorph character. And then we just have the locations again. So we have our Nostromo, our Auriga, and then the greens to this set is Fury 161. This is the planet from the third movie. And then, of course, we have our space locations. So that is the Alien battle. It is my all-time favorite box. Although I will tell you that the X-Files battle is they're kind of neck and neck right now. It's X-Files battles is coming for you, Alien. I absolutely love the X-Files set, but for years now, this has been my favorite set. I love the Alien movies. I love this box. I really, really hope at some point they do revisit this. revisit the Alien sets. I have a video on that where Bert and I talk about how we really hope that at some point Upper Deck chooses to go back and do more Alien cards. We know pretty much everything through 2020, and it looks like that it's not going to happen. I love all the 2020 releases that are coming, but deep down in my heart, I'm a little disappointed that we're not getting more Alien cards, because this is just absolutely my favorite box. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the Alien battles. What is your favorite all-time versus set? And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.